Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Contingency Plan Podcast. My name is Jedi Master David, and with me, as always, is Darth Austin.
Hello, everyone.
Darth, I want to complain about something.
Taco Bell again?
You know, what we already talked about before the podcast, but we're trying to set it up like we didn't talk about it for the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. I go out, I get some lunch. I had the craving for cheap tacos. Like, listen here. Put about a ton of those tacos in a bag and a chicken quesadilla. And you know what happened? I didn't get a ton of tacos.
You just have chicken quesadilla. Did you say ton or two?
A ton. I got a few of a ton, but not a ton. I don't know what it is, man, but like sometimes it's just, you just got to get a good, healthy serving of crappy grade D tacos. Okay.
You do.
So
kind of the same with a burger. It's like I could go grill a burger, or I could have just the worst quality Wendy's burger that I could possibly find. I even go big and get like a $7 burger. Just get 2 junior bacons, and I'm good.
Well, in the fast food wars, I'd much rather have Wendy's than any of the other competitors. But really, we shouldn't be eating any of that crap anyway.
Out of all the things that will kill us, this is our favorite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's wild. So, we're gonna chat about a little bit more Mandalorian stuff today. There's been a little bit more news that came out after we did our last episode, and we kind of took this past week off, I guess, inadvertently off. We just couldn't get anything down. Yeah, I mean, you're busy. Your business is picking up. So what's been happening on your end? Why are you not giving the fans
social
what they
distancing
want
from the podcast? How does that work? I just don't do it.
Exactly.
No, I mean, well, Memorial Day is coming up, and that's just always a nightmare. And one of our techs decided he was done and quit today, and gave us 2 weeks and used 2 weeks vacation, and essentially said, "And I'm gone."
Yep.
So yeah, we've had a crazy couple of weeks trying to catch up, and with that, it just puts us further in the hole. And it's great for me. I'll make a ton of money. Yeah. Pay for hobbies and more books and whatnot. It's awesome. I just don't have time for them.
Yeah. I feel you there.
It's always a balancing act between making a decent amount and having a life still.
Right. Yeah, and that sometimes that obviously happens, and you are gonna need to buy a book here pretty second. Goodness, on the second. Pretty quickly on the second, because we have Queen's Peril coming up. That's getting ready to drop here in June. I believe it's June 2nd, right?
Something like that. I know it's in June. Haven't had time to keep up with all that.
June 2nd. I have
2 credits for Audible though, so I'm good to go. I might even get Ahsoka along with it.
You really should. You know what's crazy? I actually probably need to stop the Audible for a second, because I've kind of ran out of books that I've wanted to purchase off of there. Yeah. And the other thing too is, like, so still working from home and probably going to be doing that for a while longer, but I don't really care for listening to audiobooks in my home when I'm working, but I was perfectly happy doing that at work, which gave me a lot of time to get through them. So now it's kind of harder for me to get through audiobooks. It's weird. It's a weird thing.
I feel like I'd probably enjoy it while working out the most, but yeah, I have trouble listening at home as well. I don't know. It's strange to me. I feel like I should be just reading an actual book when I'm home.
It's true. Well,
but then I buy everything on Audible, so I don't have many options. So
yeah, exactly.
It's catch-22.
Yeah, and I do like popping one on when I take my long walks, but it's been so just rainy. It's been so wet over the past even 2 weeks that I haven't even had a lot of walking time in either. It's a lot different on a treadmill as opposed to actually going outside and like really walking and getting out.
Well, getting the fresh air always makes it nicer too. You feel so restricted at home in your house compared to, really getting some good air and some good scenery. It makes it less boring.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because like when you look back at, yesteryear, there was a lot of like, in quotations, doctors back in the day, that actually did recommend change of scenery, change of climate, going outside, walking, basically you actually had like prescriptions of like, here's some fresh air, go out and get some. And that's not even like made up. That's literally a thing. And there is something to that. Obviously, you get your vitamin D and happy D all over the place. But I think just, getting out, and seeing the world and enjoying the nature and having the fresh air and, a nice big old pollen ball hit you in the face and you're sneezing and then, you get attacked by some random dog in the neighborhood.
That's great.
Yeah, it's funny.
We're trying to convince a bunch of Star Wars nerds to go out and walk.
Go outside. Bring your lightsaber. It's perilous out there.
Right.
No,
kill the bees with your lightsaber.
Yeah. Well, the thing is like the last time I was down to see Dad, I think, you were there too, for at least for a while. Yeah. He was complaining about his allergies acting up, and he has like terrible allergies, but he had just been out cutting the grass. It's like, well, why don't you take an allergy pill before you go out? Because by now you're what, 60s something now?
61.
61?
61, I think.
Yeah, math.
62. 2.
Okay, 2. Yeah, math. But it's like you're 62 years old. You know what upsets your allergies. Like that now. And it's
he's
kind
just so apathetic of the pain involved with it. He just does it. He doesn't even think of a way to stop it.
But he'll just sit there with
I've myself be the same way with him, though. Honestly, it's bad. But I almost wonder if it's a trait.
Maybe him. It's just stubborn, I guess. But it's like he'll just sit there with his hand on his head, like rubbing his temples. It's like, so you still haven't taken an allergy pill, have you? All right, man. Well, you suffer.
I'll be the same way if I have a headache. Like, my girlfriend will always be like, why don't you just take a Tylenol? No, I'll live with it. I'll just live with it.
Yeah, it's wild. I think we have a similar thing there where we're not much into taking of anything unless it's absolutely needed. So
right, even like just basic vitamins for me, I'm like, I don't need it.
I don't need that.
I don't need vitamins.
It's cool.
That's just a conspiracy.
It's all a conspiracy. We're in the Matrix. So I will go ahead and recant one tale, the tale of the Jedi Master who gets bored and sometimes eBays for random stuff that he doesn't win because he doesn't try hard enough, but he still looks at things. So I was trying to track down potentially a saber. So Black Series FX, they're actually pretty decent sabers, right? In 2010, they released a Luke's model saber, which originally Anakin's saber. A lot of people complain about the newer one, which is entitled Rey's saber, because, and I'll be honest, I didn't even notice this, but I should have, because the poster on my wall actually depicts this. So Daisy does it left-handed. So the activation box is on the other side of the saber, which makes it kind of awkward for a righty because it's now made for a lefty, right? So people have complained about that. It's like they don't like it as much. And plus, in the 2010 version, you could actually remove the blade. And apparently in the newer one, you can't. I don't know. So I was looking for 2010. I was like, oh my God. You nerds are paying way too much for these sabers. I was like, it's 10 years old. So I found one. I'm not looking for like in the box. I'm not that kind of person. I don't care. I want to clash and bang, and I'll just sit here as we're podcasting. I'll mute myself and just as you're talking, just to mess you up. But man, that thing went for over $200.
Whew. And they were probably like what, $20 when they were in the stores.
No. Legitimately, the Black Series stuff, the nice Black Series stuff, is like $175 new. So they're fairly expensive, but they have all the sounds. They have the light up stuff. They're made of metal, all that good stuff. So they're actually very good representations. And I've seen a lot of the folks in like the 501st and Rebel Legion have used those. But the only thing is like, you know, you can find like the Obi-Wan usually kind of cheaper. And I think you can find a lot of like Luke Saber from episode 6, but it's not quite right because in order to accommodate the saber, they had to widen the top, which I just don't think looks very good. And there's always a ton of like Darth Vader ones too. Nobody wants Darth Vader's ones.
Oh yeah. That's the most generic one out there, honestly.
It kind of is. So anyway, maybe one day, but you know, I don't know why I want a saber. Well, okay, yes, I do. I know exactly why.
We all want one
because they're
you
cool.
Can't be a Star Wars fan and not want one.
they're just not cheap.
One good one though, even though it's super tiny. The Sidious sabers are pretty sweet, actually.
Oh yeah, they are. They are,
but they're rare. You don't find them often.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. I don't know. Maybe one day we'll have sabers. We'll do a Facebook video of just trying to beat each other with them.
Give just the crap out of each other, you know.
Yeah.
Just a 5-second video of us just smacking each other in the face and then getting really pissed off. And we cut the video.
Well, when we were kids, we had the cheap like extendo deals.
Oh yeah, just the worst one. The ones that didn't even go all the way in, like the base was still sticking out.
Yeah.
Darth Maul one went all the way in. That one was sweet.
Your Darth Maul one was really sweet. I had a Qui-Gon one at one point, but it was again it was like the the multiple layered plastic whip out type of thing, like a police baton does. Right. And they're all plastic and I don't even think they had lights and sounds. Did they? Did Mauls have lights?
Some of them did, but they never. No, his did not. But some of them did, but it rarely worked.
Yeah, so, I mean they were cheap kids' toys, and we were kids, and we liked them. But
we beat the crap out of them, so they weren't going to spend a bunch of money on them. I don't blame them.
Yeah, and that was the thing is we'd have our little fight. And you were always the aggressive one too. You were just trying to beat the crap out of everybody.
That's why I had the Darth Maul one.
Yeah, that's so funny. Well, no, I'm not going to push on to that too much. But anyway, we did have those as kids, the cheapos.
Remember to build your own? Like the sets for like $30-$40 to build your own lightsaber that came with all the different little plastic pieces.
Vaguely, I remember that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the things that we used to have. But anyway, yeah, that was my bored quarantine eBay search. I was because I was like, I'm going to put like $100 max on this. It'll be fine. And it was like, bloop. Okay. You want it way more than I do. Take it, please.
Right.
Wild stuff. One day. So yeah, Queen's Peril, obviously that'll be coming up. I do want to get that on the podcast, eventually when we can. I know we both enjoyed Queen's Shadow. I'll be honest.
Have we done a review of Queen's Shadow?
To be honest, I don't think we ever got to it.
I don't think we have.
I don't think we ever got it. But that, I don't know. In a lot of ways, I actually think that might be one of my favorites, if not my favorite.
It is
new canon book.
And truthfully, and you even warned me before I read it that there'd be a lot of things that would it might bore you. It might not be your favorite, but for how little Star Wars there is in that book compared to all the other little nuances, it's just an entertaining book. It's well written.
Yeah.
It just paints Padme in this really cool role. I mean, something the movies never did, truthfully.
Yeah, and that was the thing is like Padme is actually a really awesome character. And I think it's really nice to see somebody putting her in the light she deserves to be. And E.K. Johnson is the author for it. I mean, she's done a great job. So I really appreciate that. I'm really looking forward to Queen's Peril. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, she honestly, I know we already have our books from her, but kind of wish she would do a new Ahsoka book, because I feel like she would just paint her characters so well.
Yeah.
She's just very good. Just really good with female background characters. I don't want to call Padme background, but they kind of made her a background character in the second movie.
It was a Skywalker saga. I mean, it was supposed to be about Anakin and what had happened in the prequels, but yeah, she does do a great job of elevating female characters. Yeah, and the Ahsoka book was a great adventure as well. That was very enjoyable. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Queen's Peril, and obviously a lot of what we're gonna have coming out in the future. And this year we're still getting a lot of stuff, and I'm happy.
And obviously,
happy
we have the High Republic here soon. We've got 2 months for that.
No. Well, God, time's been flying so quickly. Let me actually look up. Yeah. We'll look up the actual books, because we have Alexander Freed's Alphabet Squadron book. We've got Thrawn. I think Thrawn's not until October. Where's the list?
Yeah, Thrawn, the series will never start.
I've went through them. I think it's worth it, but it's.
I know it is. That's the most annoying part for me.
Shadowfall, they're saying is also. Oh no, that hasn't been updated at all. Wow, because everything kind of got pushed back. Let me look at another. This is riveting. Yeah, God, a lot of these really haven't been updated. That's kind of strange.
Really?
I don't. It's like, do I really need to dig this hard? Like, I'm on the third site, the third website here. It's like, oh my God, it's like looking through a recipe book, or a recipe. How do I make guacamole? And then, well, here's the history of the avocado. It's like, I don't need this. Just give me the damn recipe. And another thing too is that now that we have our comic stores opening back up, DC's been publishing IWD, I think, and maybe Dark Horse, a few other of. So eventually, we're gonna have comics starting back up again, because we were in the middle of the Vader new Star Wars series, Bounty Hunters. Dr. Aphra got pushed back, so that'll be in there. And there's the Dr. Aphra audio drama that was released that they were gonna have. What the heck is going on? Why? It's like my internet being jacked. You look up too much Star Wars stuff. This is nuts.
Too many nerds looking up Star Wars stuff right now.
I know, it's nuts. It's like it keeps wanting. You want to go to Barnes and Noble? No, I don't want to go to Barnes and Noble. Just give me a list of what's new this year. Why do I have to be this specific? And this is technology, right? Okay, so here. Okay, I think this is what I'm looking for. Great. Well, this list doesn't even have release dates for a few things. Shadowfall, I think, is also in June, but I'm not digging any further. Audiobook for Aphra is July 21st. Let's see. Poe Dameron Freefall, that's a young adult, in August. High Republic, Jedi of the Light, that's the Char Soul, that's August 25th.
Okay, we still have a little while for that then.
Yeah. High Republic Test of Courage, that's Justina Ireland, that's a junior novel, that's September 8th. Chaos Rising is the Thrawn book, October 6th. That's Timothy Zahn. That got pushed back because that was supposed to be released sooner. High Republic Into the Dark, and that's Claudia Gray's book, which that should be really neat. October 13th. Yeah. So October, September is when a lot of this stuff is going out. I feel like we're missing one in here. But anyway, a lot of stuff coming up.
That's probably going to be the big one, too. Claudia's is probably the one.
We're all fans, so
she's awesome.
Well, Charles Soule is just he's my guy as far as like comics. Okay, if you want a Star Wars comics, Charles Soule. I'm actually very interested to see what he does with the novel, and that's literally labeled novel. So
he has no idea yet. Okay,
it's a novel, darn it. So that should be pretty cool. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a good year, and I know we're both looking forward to Shadowfall as well, right? Because we love the Alphabet Squadron book, and the continuation of that should be very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that they planned this out so well too, because without having another movie to look forward to, they really needed to pack this year in.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they've done a great job so far with the lineup. And I'm sure there's plenty of stuff we don't know about, plenty of little drops along the way.
For sure. Yeah, no doubt. So anyway, I guess we should go ahead and get into the body of what we were actually looking at talking about, some more Mando news. So Mandalorian, this plucky little live action that just united pretty much everybody into a mutual admiration of a Star Wars show. People that weren't even Star Wars fans really found it very entertaining. You know, blending sort of a Western with, you know, the storytelling
Monster
of Star Wars and Monster of the Week. You know, let loose the baby Yoda, which is on everybody's. Yeah, very true. But there have been a lot of releases of folks who will join it, and I think I made a joke on Twitter about it's like, so who's gonna be next in The Mandalorian? We might as well just get them all out of the way, and we did. We got more from our last release because we did get
Mon Mothma is now going to be in The Mandalorian.
God. Well, you know, we got the whole actor who played Jango Fett, you know, coming in to play Boba potentially. And now we have Katie Sackhoff going to be potentially playing Bo-Katan. She voiced Bo in, you know, Clone Wars, Rebels. So I like Katie Sackhoff. She was in one of my shows there for a bit. Longmire, obviously, was it Battlestar Galactica?
Oh, yeah.
I guess she was really big in the reboot of Battlestar. So it was Battlestar, right? I'm getting that right. Come on, man.
I think so.
I never watched it. I you know, that was never a show that really piqued my interest all that much, and I just never. Yeah, it was Battlestar. Yeah, so for 6.
Yeah, I never
6
got
years.
into it all that much either. I know it's a very good, well-made, popular show, but
a lot of people liked it. But
say the same thing about Star Trek and Doctor Who and all that stuff. I didn't get into that.
Doctor Who's pretty cool, though. If you appreciate British humor,
it is.
If you have to appreciate British humor in order to get it, though, because it's very British. You know, kind of like Monty Python is very British. But I can appreciate the humor. Oh yeah, love the Python. So Katie Sackhoff, Bo-Katan. I think that's pretty cool, honestly.
It would make more sense than a lot of the other options, honestly.
Yeah, and it sort of starts to seem to me that we're probably going to Mandalore. Okay, because we also had talked a little bit about Sabine being present in our last episode, and obviously Ahsoka, but Sabine and Bo maybe trying to look at Mandalore or you know, trying to, you know, I think a theory that was floated out a little bit was, what if the Mandalorian winds up like ruling Mandalore type of deal? But if Bo's around, I just don't know about that, because we already kind of coronated.
I don't know if Mando's really designed to be the Mandalorian. Truthfully,
well, not now, because we keep trying to edge him out of the darn show. I mean, that's my opinion, but it feels like we're constantly trying to edge him out of this show.
So here's the thing that sucks the most. We get our big reveal with Gideon and all that, and it's awesome. And Darksaber, and the entire time you're like, oh, Mando's gonna get the Darksaber. Now it's like, okay, who's getting the Darksaber? You're adding all these people. Who's getting it? Who's next? Is just Darth Maul going to show up for no reason?
He survived.
No, he's dead. He's just survived again, being cut in half. Now he's just a robot, literally just a robot. Yeah, it's great.
I actually just recently watched that episode, the final duel between Maul and Obi-Wan, and
it's so poetic.
Well, he's a sympathetic character at the end, because this is a guy who, he was obviously Sidious's Padawan, or number 2 or apprentice. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. And was defeated and then came back to run, Black Sun and literally ruled Mandalore and then lost it all again. And just until we find him in Rebels at the Sith Temple when he's much older and crazier. But even in that last battle with Obi-Wan, it's like, he kind of knows that there's something else that could basically avenge. And I think that was even the words he used, is like, he'll avenge us.
He will avenge us all. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, even though he had to have that final confrontation with Obi-Wan, I think there was almost like a brotherhood there at that point. It was almost like, we are bound in the cosmic circle. We have to do this, but I know that you're going to take care of the person who will avenge us all, type of deal.
Yes, so there's a bit of camaraderie. I mean, he appreciates that Obi-Wan has taken on that role.
Yeah, I think so. So again, Bo-Katan, I think that should be fine. I think that should be pretty cool if we see that. And then we also had, let's see here. Well, there was one article here. I figured we'd just bring it up just as kind of to talk about, because obviously we're, okay, Sabine, okay, maybe Ahsoka. So what if this is sort of the bridge to what happened to Ezra Bridger? And I'm going to go ahead and just say this, and then, you can, whatever you think about it as well, obviously. But I think that that's dumb. I think that it will completely undermine the show, because that is a big flippin' deal if it were to happen. At that point, for me, it becomes the Ezra Bridger show. Because there's something big with that kid.
Well, I mean, you can't deny how, yes, a lot of people didn't like Rebels as much, but he is, in a way, just as cool as every other main character Jedi. I mean, he's kind of like a little Luke in a way, mixed in with a scoundrel like Han. I mean, he's such a unique character, and he does deserve more screen time. I'm not going to say he doesn't, but we can still add on to Rebels. And if we can still add on to Rebels, why do we need to do a live action Ezra and just completely finish his story out on a different series?
I think it would be
get on Rebels.
Yeah,
stick with that. Just like, what if we finished our Ahsoka story on this? It's the same thing. Finish it on the platform you started on.
I think it'd be a huge mistake, because then you have to find Hera, okay, or Jason at that point. Maybe, because I don't really. No, Hera would still be around. I mean, she would be much older, but she'd still be there. But I just, I still don't really think Ahsoka needs to be in the show. I think we just need the next season of Rebels. But
we just got a great. I don't want to say end, because it's not the end, obviously, but a great wrap up to her first journey. Yeah, transitioning from Jedi to Grey Jedi.
Yeah.
Why do we need more of that right now?
Yeah, and
my thing is, I have a real hard time jumping from animated to live action or vice versa.
Sure.
I really have I cannot do it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because you get used to the animation style of a character's face, their expressions, their voice actor, everything like that. And then you try and translation that into the big screen, and it never works.
Yep.
It never works out for me.
Well,
and that's what will happen with Ezra and Ahsoka.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, too, is then it becomes Jedi stuff. And I love Jedi stuff, but I also love independent shows that can just be,
Mandalorian
galaxy
stuff now. And I never really got into the Mandalorian lore.
Yeah,
but now I kind of enjoy it.
But I mean, it was the same thing with Rogue One. There are a lot of people who love Rogue One because it really wasn't Jedi stuff. Not everything in Star Wars is Jedi. Okay, I love Jedi
look at
things.
Alphabet Squadron.
No, they're all Force sensitive.
There's a lot of people out there who don't really like the space portion of Star Wars and the dogfights, which I always loved them. That was always one of my big things. But for a lot of people, that was an entry point into that.
Yep.
And then they're going back into the old Rogue Squadron and, all that stuff. So I don't know. Can't we just stick with Mando? He's a cool character.
Right.
We got a good actor. We got a good supporting cast. Add a couple to the supporting cast, replace, IG-11, and just stick with that.
Yeah.
Stick with that.
I agree. I really do. I really worry about, putting too much and just losing the heart of the show a little bit. But you should add some more little characters. I think that the thing is,
supporting characters.
Yeah, I mean, it's been peppered around. There's been a lot of people peppered around. I am done with comedians that, barely anybody recognizes who they are at the time and then have to look them up, aside from Bill Burr.
Bill Burr was awesome, but we don't need any more.
I think he'll be back. I think that gang will be back.
I hope they are.
I think they will.
That was a really entertaining story arc.
I think they will. Or at the very least, Bill Burr. I think he might be back.
Yeah.
And then maybe do a little bit of, I don't know if he's out for revenge or maybe helping him. I still like the idea of like Mando just having a gang with him. And then they just do gang stuff. All right. They go out and do bounties as a team. I think that that's cool.
Honestly, Bill Burr's character would be a great compliment to Mando.
I think so. Yeah, he's comedic relief.
He'd be a good little teammate. Yeah,
but
he's just got a cool concept with his third gun on the shoulder and all that stuff.
Stupid. He needs a bigger gun if he's gonna have a little third.
He does. But Mando can give him one of his rifles. Put that on his shoulder.
Goodness, man!
I was thinking about it earlier, and my biggest fear is. This is a weird analogy, but do you remember playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 and doing the Mos Eisley Spaceport heroes versus villains?
Mm-hmm.
And just the whole concept of this, like, this doesn't make sense. You have Anakin fighting Luke, and you have Boba and Jango, both grown adults, fighting on the opposite team and all this. And it's just this like stupid fan service plug into the game, and I feel like that's what Mando's going to start to look like if they keep doing this.
Yeah, and it's very possible that all this could be for naught, and none of this stuff is actually going to be in the show. But I do worry about it. I do worry about it because like there can be a shred of truth in every rumor. But I think that, I just don't want to see anything overshadow what we've built, because Baby Yoda darn near overshadowed everything anyway.
Oh yeah.
And it's basically become the Baby Yoda show, which is okay.
I like Baby Yoda. I don't have any complaints. I mean, at least, I don't know. It's a very good way to do the comic relief, I feel like.
He just needs his
little
he needs his little Mando helmet in this season, little Mando armor. I think that'd be cool.
If nothing else, just take his little crib pod and put some kind of signet on it or something when he closes it up.
Yeah. You're going to start learning the way.
No, this is the way. This is the way.
Do you think we'll hear him talk this season, Baby Yoda?
I don't know. I don't know if we ever will hear him talk. I mean, who knows when Yoda starts talking?
Do you think he'll talk in like Yoda's like way of inflection, as in his way of speaking?
I don't know.
The way it is.
What's her name?
Yaddle.
The other council member. Yaddle, did she?
I don't remember. Ever
she was
talking.
in comics. She was in comics.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
I don't know. I think she did. I feel like that'd be kind of strange, especially since he's not growing up with any of his kind. You know, he's just around Mando and he starts talking like that for no reason.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. So one other potential addition. Call back to Aftermath with the potential introduction of Cobb Vanth. You know him. You love him. Cobb.
No, it's Boba. It's just Boba.
Well, so Timothy Oliphant. Every time I see this, I read it like
Elephant.
I read it like Oliphant, which is the way they kind of said elephant in the Tolkien books. Old Sam Wise is, I just want to see an Oliphant, Mr. Frodo. So I don't know if that's really how he talked, but whatever. But whenever I see his name, that's automatically what I go into. But I don't really remember a lot of what he's played in. There was that Western, I don't remember if that was Deadwood or what has he acted in? Hey, Google, let's go ahead and do this. Let's figure out, because we don't want to do show prep or anything like that. Justified. And he was that's right. Oh my God, he was Hitman. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, he also was in Deadwood, but I was thinking about Justified. That's what I was thinking about. Oh, he was Hitman. Do you remember that movie? Did you ever watch that, Hitman?
Yeah.
Barcode on the back of his neck. Oh goodness, that was interesting.
That's
it actually wasn't a bad movie, really.
It wasn't a bad movie, but he was kind of weird.
Well, you're so out of place. You're bald and you have this barcode on the back of your neck. It's like, what? Is nobody watching this?
Hitman wasn't really the most compelling character in the games anyway, so it'd be kind of hard to act like him.
Hey, man. Don't knock it. Yeah, so he's been in a Fargo. Okay, yeah.
Fargo.
Yeah, Deadwood, yeah. He's been in, stuff here and there. So anyway, Cobb Vanth was a character in the Aftermath series who found a set of Mandalorian armor in the desert of Tatooine. And he kind of played this like sheriff character, trying to overthrow a lot of the criminal element on Tatooine. So what I think the setup is, and it was never directly said in Aftermath, but we all pretty much, it's Boba's armor that he found, okay, which could indicate that Boba Fett is alive, obviously, but we at least get the armor. So I think this might point to Mando going back to Tatooine. What do you think about that? Drop the kid off with the mechanic and, just go on another adventure.
Why, though? Why would he go there?
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I don't really understand why Cobb would show up anywhere else, because that's what he was doing. Yeah. Unless he's like, I'm going to go clean up the rest of the galaxy. Or something like that. I don't know.
Yes, because I'm sure Tatooine was just perfect. My work's done here. They don't even litter anymore.
But that was the thing. I mean, they did have quite a bit of him like taking care of certain criminal elements on the planet in the Aftermath series. So I could see that.
Mhm.
I just don't know how it fits in because, like you said, why would they have to go back to Tatooine?
Right.
What would be the?
It just wouldn't make any sense unless it's really late in the season. They have some other reason built into the entire season. I just feel like it'd be kind of a cop out to get there just for that reason.
Yeah,
I don't know. But you could always just throw out there, well, it's just bounty, and that's fine, I guess. You know. But I feel like they're past the point of taking random bounties.
Or
what's going on.
Actually, think about this. So they meet Boba Fett finally, and he's like, "Hey, Mando, I need you to help me find my old armor." And that's why they go to kill Cobb and take back Boba's armor. You don't like that idea?
I don't see the upside to that idea.
Well, that's the other thing, too, is we're talking about having Boba Fett in here, potentially, which I don't care about. But, okay, but how does he fit in? Right? How does he fit
in? What ties is he going to have with anybody in this show? You know?
Well, the only other tie to Tatooine would be our assassin character.
Yeah.
Right? Jeez. You need to Google.
And is she just an assassin or a bounty hunter as well? I forget, kind of.
I mean, I think she is, an assassin.
I guess they could have crossed paths at one point. That would make sense.
Well, I'm just saying because she's still there. Somebody picked her up. Maybe it was Cobb who picked her up.
What's her age, though? She was fairly young, wasn't she?
What are you talking about? We saw her in The Mandalorian. Well, I'm talking about the assassin in The Mandalorian.
I know.
What are you talking
She's fairly young, right?
I wouldn't say
I'm saying, why would she have a tie with Boba?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying she would have a tie with Cobb because she was shot. And Cobb maybe picks her up. Because we did see somebody come up to her, right?
That's true.
So maybe that's part of heck, maybe she talks Fennec Shand. Maybe she talks Cobb into a revenge mission against Mando or something. Because again, like you said, I don't see why he would go back to the planet. But what if she goes off the planet with Cobb and then they go to try and do stuff? I think it's a stretch, but I do think that that Shan is going to be back because she didn't. I mean, there was the insinuation that she didn't die.
Otherwise. Right, they wouldn't have bothered with that scene otherwise.
Right. So maybe have Cobb, maybe have Shan doing something together. I still don't really see how Boba fits in. Hey, we're at a random spaceport. Do. Hi, I'm Boba Fett. Do. Oh, that's cool. See ya. Do.
I'm Boba Fett. Why? I don't know.
Dude,
because
I don't know. I don't know.
Because Disney.
Well, I'll be interested. I mean, I think even if we have all these folks, maybe it'll be cool. Maybe it'll be cool. Maybe we'll be really blown away with it. It's just kind of weird, to think of some of these characters and how they tie in.
It'll be cool if they don't overshadow our main cast.
Yep.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you.
How are you going to do that?
I'm with you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But so that's pretty much it on additions at this point. Although I will say there was one other thing I wanted to chat with you about a little bit here, and this was actually put forward in one of the gallery episodes with the cast. So Carl Weathers' character, Grief, Karga, was actually supposed to die. He wasn't supposed to come back later in the season.
See, I haven't seen that episode yet, so I can't.
Well, it wasn't.
I watched it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of crazy because, even Gina, she was like, Gina Carano was like, "Oh, really? I didn't know that." So yeah, he wasn't. He was supposed to. When Mando shoots him, he's like, done.
Dead. Really?
Yeah, like done. Dunzo.
Did they mention why they changed their mind on that?
Honestly, I think it was a chemistry thing. It felt like a chemistry thing.
Yeah.
It felt like this was it really does feel like that he was the glue, which is interesting because we're going to do an episode on the what was that documentary officially called something Empire. It's on Disney Plus that we were talking about.
Oh, the one we were just talking about, Empire Dreams.
Yeah. So the sort of making of the original series of George Lucas is very cool. We're going to talk about that in depth eventually, but they had talked about during the filming of New Hope how Alec Guinness was like the glue that held everyone together because you had a very young Carrie Fisher, you had a very young Mark Hamill, you had kind of, laid back Harrison Ford. And then you had Alec Guinness, who was like this. I mean, he was Sir Alec Guinness, and he was a veteran of stage and screen, and he was wise and older and experienced, and he had won an Oscar or an Academy Award, I believe, for was it
a war movie?
It's what was it? Bridge on the River Kwai. God.
No, it sounds right. I think you're right.
It's just so much Googling today. My brain is like literally fried from this work week. It's absolutely insane. So you're just going to say he won it, but not actually say what he did. Goodness, Wikipedia. Clean up your act, okay? Oh, he was in Dr. Zhivago too. Dang. Maybe that's what it was for. Anyway, the guy's been in a lot, and he was the glue. And I feel like for Mando, it was Bridge. So he was he's in a lot. I don't know why I don't know this, but like Great Expectations, Oliver Twist, Bridge on the River Kwai, Lawrence of Arabia, Dr. Zhivago, Passage to India. I mean, these are that's wild. I just never really looked into his repertoire. So anyway, he was a glue, and I think that's kind of what Carl had become in this whole thing, is sort of the glue. He's the experienced actor. He's a little bit older, and you can see how much Gina Carano looks up to him. You can really see that. So
yeah, there's been a couple interviews, and she really admires him.
Yeah,
definitely. So.
She gives him a lot of props, and I think that's valid. And I mean, that was kind of weird. It's like, oh yeah, just kill him off, I guess. Okay, I'm glad they brought him back though and gave him the turn. I think that was important.
Yeah, I mean, I really think he rounds out our crew very well, and I hope that he stays with him. I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
He's definitely the smooth talker of the group too, so that could really open some doorways in dealing with people.
Yeah, no, I think we'll definitely see him back. I mean, obviously, when we left him, him and Gina were doing their things on the planet. So, but yeah, I'm glad they kept him.
I am too.
So, any other thoughts on Mando? On the Mandalorian that we haven't already sort of blundered through some more this episode. The most unprepared podcast
we'll
ever.
Have to Google it. So I think we'll just we'll give Google a break.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Yeah.
You really should have just Googled that question. You should have punched that question into Google.
We'll give the old Google machine a break for now. So, yeah, I think we're all looking forward to Mandalorian. That was a big thing we were looking forward to when it dropped. Happy to say that we should be able to get something. Hopefully, continue to get something really cool out of that series, and continue our journey with our Mandalorian friend. Like I said, hopefully we just don't overshadow him. That's my biggest concern. Let's not overshadow him. With all these crazy characters, let's continue the story. Let's, bring Baby Yoda into the Mandalorian, and just give him some armor and flamethrower and Could you, dude? Could you imagine the meme of a little Yoda just shooting a flamethrower?
Oh my God, the memes would be epic if he became a Mandalorian.
Oh my goodness, I could just see it. It's like, this is how I cook my chicky nuggies.
Literally just a meme of every child who has little fake weapons playing as a kid.
Yeah, what is that? What is that? This is what my friends think I look like, and this is what my mom, and this is what I think I look like, and this is what I actually look like.
or do a PSA.
Yeah.
I found my dad's guns, and then I became a Mandalorian.
Could you, like, little Yoda, baby Yoda gets into his gun cabinet. You just see him like in a pile of guns, and it's like, what are you doing? Actually,
he grabs them and a pile of guns and his little knob from the ship. Like, he's sitting around all the guns, he's still just playing with that. He takes the knob and just walks away, lets him play with the guns.
Goodness. Do you ever think Baby Yoda would construct a lightsaber? Or do you think he's the one to get the dark saber?
He just pulls it out of Gideon's hand, gives that little scowl, and then he takes a nap with it. Takes a nap, and then Mando takes it from him.
I'm pretty sure.
Thanks, buddy.
Pretty sure that hilt is bigger than he is at this point.
Probably.
Well, Yoda's saber was tiny, so.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I don't think the dark saber would work for him.
No, I guess not.
It'd be the equivalent of a great sword for him.
Puts on his Braveheart paint. Freedom! You just see him with it overhead as he's just running towards them with it. That'd be great.
No, floating in his little pod. You think he could be a decent duelist in the pod?
Dude. I have no idea.
Use the Force to control the pod. Have more flexibility with it.
The laziest Jedi.
He just becomes as big as that guy from the Blade movies. Remember that?
God, yeah. Goodness. Crossing genres, but yeah.
Nobody likes Blade, I'm sure.
The first Blade was cool. The rest of them were just okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think we've yacked enough there nonsensically for about an hour about everything from toy sabers going for too much money to, our brains being
Maybe
fried.
Fighting style.
Yeah. Braveheart Mandalorian Baby Yoda with the dark saber, not, just taking out knees and so forth and ankles. Jeez. Well, anyway, folks, if you'd like to interact with the show, make sure to check us out on Facebook. You can also send us an email to tcplanpodcast@gmail.com. And make sure to follow us on Twitter @tcplanpodcast. And, of course, there's always a Patreon if you want to help support the show. It's a good place to go. And, so I guess we'll go ahead and sign off. And hope you guys have a great rest of your week.
And as always, may the Force